My name is Justin Sadowski, and I'm an attorney here with CAIR. And CAIR is here today to announce EEOC charges that are being filed on behalf of Alan Goodson against Bradshaw Chevrolet. This case involves an unholy trifecta of Title VII violations. Bradshaw Chevrolet failed to provide reasonable accommodations to Alan Goodson, a Muslim. They also harassed him both by fellow employees and by management, and then ultimately retaliated against him by terminating his employment when he pushed back against the harassment and failure to accommodate. I'm first going to talk with Alan, and he's going to tell us about our experiences, and then I'm going to talk with another attorney here at CAIR, Zaina, who is going to tell us on the legal side of things. So Alan, can you start out by telling me a little bit about yourself?
Sure. My name is Alan Goodson. I'm a mechanic, and I am a Muslim.
How did you become a Muslim?
I started working at Bradshaw Chevrolet in Cedar City, Utah in August of 2019. At the time, I was a Christian. And since day one there, I noticed that coworkers and managers were bigoted against any non-white Christian person in general, and Islam in particular. This prompted my desire to learn more about the religion, and after learning more about Islam, I converted. I felt amazing being able to pray with other believers. It was one of the greatest experiences of my life.
How did Bradshaw Chevrolet respond to your conversion?
As a Muslim, I pray 5 times a day. These prayers take 5 to 10 minutes each. Only 2 of these prayers fall during my work shift, and 1 of them falls during my lunch break. I told my supervisor that I was a Muslim and needed to pray, and he was shocked. He asked if I actually bow down and all that stuff on those little carpets and don't eat ham and bacon, pork, etc. He denied my right to pray in the office, telling me I don't think that would be a good idea to do here. As a Muslim, I am required to attend Friday congregational prayers at mosque. The prayer takes place during the day on Friday and lasts about an hour. I asked to shift my work days to accommodate the Friday prayer. My supervisor denied my request despite giving similar workday preference accommodations for non-religious reasons to other non-Muslim employees.
And did anyone else harass you about your religion?
After that, others at Bradshaw Chevrolet became widely known, and so they harassed me because of my religion. For instance, an employee consistently made comments about shooting Muslims, beheading Muslims, and insulted Prophet Muhammad, peace be upon him. I was asked whether I blew up any buildings over the weekend, like on a Monday morning. When my Palestinian friend and his friend came to visit me at work during my lunch break, one of the employees told me a couple of, and he said the N-word, a couple of N-words, we're here looking for you. And then he told me that Islam is not a white man's religion. A supervisor told me I was a sand, and then he said the N-word, terrorist. And Bradshaw employees even told me that they had previously harassed an Arab employee that used to work there, and he eventually quit because of the harassment.
Did you complain about the harassment?
I did. I complained about the harassment, but my supervisor told me that there was no formal system of filing a complaint anyway. The harassment persisted. I contacted General Motors, and they told me they couldn't do anything about it because Bradshaw Chevrolet was privately owned. I finally decided to contact the Equal Employment Opportunity Commission, which investigates employment discrimination. While filling out their intake form, a supervisor came up behind me and asked what I was doing. I told him, and he asked for the complaint when I was done, and I complied.
What did Bradshaw do then?
The following work week, Bradshaw fired me. I was shocked because I'd been working at the company for nearly a year and never had this issue. I tried to explain to top management that I believed I had been terminated because I was Muslim and because I asked to pray. Management sent me home. That same day, management called and asked me to come in, telling me that everything was fine. We are going to work this out. So I came back and Bradshaw terminated me again. That same supervisor winked at me and waved his middle finger at me when Bradshaw terminated me. Make no mistake, I was fired because I am a Muslim and because I asked to pray. I know this because Bradshaw management and employees harassed me about my religion throughout my employment. And it's a very, very terrible feeling, very terrible.
Why are you sharing your story?
By sharing my story, I hope that other Muslims feel confident in coming forward to stand up against the abuses of minority individuals in the workplace. I'm also hopeful that in the future, these types of cases will exist no longer.
Thank you. It's very brave of you to tell a story, your story like that. It's a really compelling story, and the actions of Bradshaw were really terrible. And it's only by coming out in public that you can change the behavior not only of Bradshaw Chevrolet, but others who might behave similarly. I'm going to now turn to Zaina. Zaina is our staff attorney here, and I'm going to ask her. We've heard what Bradshaw Chevrolet did, but I'm going to ask her: was it illegal?
Yeah, so the law mandates that the dealership not only protect its employees from harassment, but that it also provides employees with reasonable religious accommodations. And it also prohibits retaliation.
What accommodations did Bradshaw deny, Alan?
So Bradshaw illegally prohibited a Muslim mechanic from taking short prayer breaks, though the prayers only last 5 to 10 minutes and are equivalent to a bathroom or smoke break. And the fact that other employees may react in a bigoted manner toward an employee's religious accommodation is not a legally acceptable reason to deny an employee a prayer accommodation. And Bradshaw also denied Alan the right to attend Jummah prayer or Friday congregational services at his mosque, despite the fact that Alan offered to shift his workday, so the request wouldn't pose a burden to the company. And Bradshaw already allows non-Muslim employees Friday accommodations for non-religious purposes. And so the fact that it allows those accommodations, but not Alan's, is a basic example of discrimination.
What about the harassment and the bigotry, the use of the sand N-word and, calling Alan a terrorist? Is that legal?
That is not legal. The law mandates that Bradshaw provide a non-hostile work environment to employees. Alan probably has the most severe harassment case I've seen at CAIR. You have employees daily subjecting him to horribly offensive racial and religious slurs, calling him a terrorist, a sand N-word, talking about beheading Muslims, shooting Muslims, asking him if he blew up any buildings over the weekend. This is the type of harassment that the law was created to protect employees from. And this dealership made clear that Alan was welcome when he was Christian and no longer welcome when he converted.
What about the retaliation? Was it okay for Bradshaw to terminate Alan?
So it wasn't. Bradshaw retaliated against Alan after it learned that he contacted the EEOC to file a complaint. The law explicitly protects employees who file these complaints because we know employers often, unfortunately, retaliate against employees who stand up for themselves.
We've been using the word retaliate. Can you explain what that word means?
Yeah, so retaliation is when an employee or employer here, Bradshaw, takes some sort of action against an employee in response for exercising their employment rights. And here, in response to Alan filing a complaint, Bradshaw fired him, and that's retaliation.
So what happens now?
So there's going to be some efforts made to resolve this issue before the EEOC, but if that doesn't work, there will likely be a lawsuit, and we intend to hold Bradshaw accountable for its violations of Title VII of the Civil Rights Act.
Do you have any final words?
Yeah, we appreciate Alan's courage in coming forward to stand up for not only himself, but other Muslim employees in Utah. It takes strength and courage to do that.
Alan, do you have any final words?
Sure, I'm proud to stand up for my rights as a Muslim and an American. Everyone deserves to be treated with dignity and fairness, and I thank the CAIR legal team for helping me to fight for my rights.
Thank you. I hope. Thank you both for your time, and I just hope that the EEOC and Bradshaw ultimately do the right thing. Thank you.
Thank you.